Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with Cyclone.
And there you have what ruined a perfect night of fights. Oh, good God almighty. Where do I begin? Well, happy Columbus Day. If you celebrate Columbus Day, if you want to be known as a Columbus Day fan, happy day to you. Your Messiah, me, is back in your life. So yeah, that was the best view of everything that went down. And that is just actually a small snippet of a much bigger situation, and one that's been brewing now before Conor showed up, before Khabib showed up. This thing goes back to the art of war, okay? The art of war is to get in your opponent's mind, okay? Get him off his game so much so he makes mistakes. Then you capitalize on those mistakes. And Conor has done that perfectly. Better than anybody, period. Dana says since Ali, I kind of agree. Conor is, don't compare me to Ali. Everybody's like that with Ali. He's untouchable. Here's the thing. When you chirp as much as Conor does, and Conor does his homework better than anybody, okay? He finds out every little detail about you and uses it until he finds your weak spot. And then he digs and digs and digs and digs. It's worked before. What he ran into here with Khabib is, and it's the same thing in the political world, the way the world is right now. Nobody in the East, nobody in the United States, nobody in Asia, nobody in England, nobody really understands the mind of somebody from the Middle East. These guys play with a different deck of cards in their heads, okay? They live a much different lifestyle. Not that we don't have hard times here. I mean, just look at Flint, Michigan, for Christ's sake. But it's so different there, you can't understand it. Now, people say, oh, Conor stepped over the line talking about his father and religion. No, he didn't. It's called freedom of speech. That's what we have here in this country. We have the ability to say whatever we want, as long as it I mean, you can't say scream fire in a crowded building. But outside of that, you can basically say and do whatever you want as long as it doesn't actually cross that line. And Connor's never crossed it. Okay, he's come close. He has skirted the line a bunch. But this, what happened? This Strikeforce 2011, Holyfield Tyson. When you do what Khabib did and go into the crowd, you lose all any point that you have, you lose. Okay, you have to stay as controlled as possible. What he should have done after he choked out Conor, fine. Whether he wants to pick him up like a couple of other people said off the mat, or leave him there after flipping him the bird and talking smack to him, fine, leave him there. Let Buffer call your name, get your arm raised, get your belt, and get the hell out of the building. Then celebrate with your cousins, your brothers, Ali Abdelaziz. Do all that stuff. Don't go after Dylan Dennis of all people. My good God gracious almighty, as my grandmother used to say. Why Dylan? You want to throw your mouthpiece at him, I ain't got no problems with that. You want to curse at him? You want to flip him the bird? Go for it. Again, you jump over the cage and go out into the crowd. Yeah, you went after Dylan, but guess what? 4 or 5 rows of people were in the firing zone, if you will. You can't have that. Okay, and by the way, if you guys don't know, and I don't see how most of you don't already, the governor of Vegas was there. John McCain, God rest his soul, said that MMA was human cockfighting. Actions like this prove him right. You are a professional athlete. Act like one. Win like a champion, play like a champion. It's the Yankees, it's Notre Dame, it's the Celtics, it's the Lakers, and whatever other teams use that slogan. Okay? Act composed. Yeah, you know what? During the whole fight week, and even before, Khabib was stone cold faced, while Khabib was chirping like a bird, while Conor was chirping. It was just building and building until he couldn't take anymore. You can't let it get the best of you. Look, I myself here have had times where I've wanted to take things to the extreme. But it's not worth me sitting in a 6x6 cell. I just smile, say thank you, say you guys are fanboys, keep watching. That's the mature thing to do. That's the adult thing to do. Khabib, we won't be seeing him for the logical money bet says 6 to 8 months. Is what I've heard, what I know other people have been saying. As a matter of fact, half hour before the show started, I ran into Matt Serra outside. We talked about this. He said the same thing. Khabib's a beast, but he has to go. Now, as far as, here's what happened. And people are saying, oh, how can other guys get into the cage? Well, look, the second Khabib gets past the security guy, if you watch the videotape closely, NYPD, Metro Police Department, all the security guys, the UFC security guys, all go after that, leaving the cage exposed. So Islam Makhachev, who just kissed his UFC career goodbye. So I hope it was worth it for you, Islam. You could have been an all-time great too. You, bye-bye. I'm not sure about the other two. Look, Conor got up to the top of the cage, and for a split second, it looked like he was going to jump out there too. Thought better of it, came back down, and that's when he got sucker punched. And the second you get sucker punched, you win the fans over. So despite the majority of people hating him, they now kind of side with Conor in this. And for Khabib to demand that Dana wrap the belt around his waist. I am champion. Give me my belt. No, dude. Because I don't know how many of you guys watched past the footage of what happened. But as they got Khabib to the tunnel, he was getting pelted with debris. The cage was getting pelted with debris. So it would have been 5 times worse had Dana just put that belt around Khabib's waist right in the cage. This man, look, what this was to a lesser extent was Hogan Andre. It was Hogan Ultimate Warrior. It was Hogan Piper. It was 2 of the biggest, brightest stars, not just in the UFC, but in the MMA, period, going at it for 5 rounds. As it turns out, Khabib did what he normally does in first round, came back even stronger and pummeled him and murked him and grinded him in the second round. The third round, he took his foot off the gas pedal. Conor came back, and give Conor credit. For the first time in his 27-fight career now, Khabib lost a round. That third round went to Conor. Fourth round, Khabib puts the foot back on the gas, chokes him out. Game, set, match. Hashtag, and still. As well he should be. He should be applauded for the greatness that he is, except now we got to go through all this monkey poop because of him. And I know everyone's, oh, they shouldn't have used the bus footage. It's part of the storyline. Now, if for some reason they actually ever book a rematch for this, first of all, I don't know how much extra security they're going to have. Maybe what they should do is go completely WWE. Put a top to the cage so it's like a real steel cage match. Have fighters along outside the cage like a lumberjack match with guys that have nothing to do with Conor and nothing to do with Khabib. Just total impartial fighters around the cage. Just to keep things extra secure. Get Donald Trump to send in the United States Marine Corps, have whatever city's police department, the arena security, and UFC security. But honestly, I don't see how the hell this is ever going to be rematched. Would it sell a bazillion pay-per-view buys? Sure, absolutely. Will it make a lot of people a lot of money? Completely and totally. Should they? Just because you can and you can't do something doesn't necessarily mean you should. And this is one, let it die. So people are saying, what should be next for Conor McGregor? People are saying finally trilogy Nate Diaz. Here's the thing. You don't want Conor McGregor going into that on a losing streak. Okay? You want Conor facing Nate on a win streak. So, if you look at the lightweight rankings, which I'm about to do, because this whole show is going to be on the fly. There are 2 people that jump at me that Conor could and should face. Number 1, Kevin Lee. I like the less of ability of a wrestler of Khabib standing to face Conor. Just because Conor had an idea. I mean, his takedown defense was good enough for most people, just not good enough against Khabib. Someone like Kevin Lee, I think he could handle. And the other person, and I don't know because, and I'll get into this in about 2 minutes, Anthony Pettis. Once his hand gets cleared, and looking at it now, he is on a 180-day suspension until he gets medical clearance. Kevin Lee and Anthony Pettis, one of those two should be next for Conor. Now, I know last week, right after the show, I believe it was on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, Anderson Silva said he would be honored to fight Conor. No, not at this point. And same thing with GSP. GSP at this point, no. If anybody should take on GSP right now, and I hate to say it because it would hold up the belt, Khabib. I want to see Khabib against GSP at lightweight. You'll have the two guys that show respect, show honor to each other, do it the old school MMA style of things. That's the way I like it to be. I think that, honestly, as far as Khabib goes, he's going to be suspended, like I said. There's no two ways, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. And look, here's the thing. The fallout is going to be so far-reaching, okay, yes, I am Brandon, May and Koo. It's Brandon squared. The two of you should be like a form of tag team. The Brandon squared. But look, here's the thing. I don't believe that there should be... If he's suspended for any length of time, they're going to have to strip him. And I can just picture it right now, Tony sitting in Dana's office. Oh, Mr. White. He's going to demand to be in a title match. Now look, if you go to the UFC website, the main event is still blank. It doesn't officially have Valentina against Ciara Eubanks. Okay, it's still listed for 231's co-main. Do we now make Nate Poirier for an interim lightweight belt? Instead of a 165 division belt, do they actually put a 155 belt on that winner? And then let Tony fight the winner, and by then Khabib should be back. And then you could have the winner of Nate Dustin be champ, Tony fight that winner, then Khabib fight that winner. So you're setting yourself up for halfway through 2019 that way. That's what I think it should be. Now, how about Pettis and Tony Ferguson? Geez, that was what wrestling announcers call an old school slobber knocker. Okay? That is what a slobber knocker is. Unlike what I'm about to show you. Bobby, can you play clip number 5? And that was the close-up of what Khabib going after Dylan. And Bellator, and look, Scott Coker's a great guy, okay? I'll be seeing him Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week, okay? But what Bellator now did was a little bit underhanded. They're like, hey guys, our fights are in cages, unlike other companies. Come see Dylan Dennis make his pro debut soon. Really? Really, people? I know it's not Scott Coker running social media for Bellator, but really? That's a bit low. Okay, Bellator's done a lot of crazy effed up stuff. Yes, Phil, I said slobber knocker, okay? Not knockers. Okay, knockers are something else. And then obviously, when I say most people around the planet don't understand the Middle East, watch this. Bobby, number 6, please. So see, there you have his crowd, his people, okay? Let me just flick that over. So look, here's the thing. Obviously, they were going to cheer for him in Dagestan. Obviously. And I keep going back to Conor and Khabib because there's just something so freaking visceral about what he did. He went so far up and beyond the point of normalcy, especially for him, because Khabib is always the quiet, respectful guy. And he said after the fight, his one comment, because he was told he better go make a comment to the press, he admitted that, thank you, visceral is a 7-letter score on Scrabble, Phil, or Yahtzee, or whatever one of those games is. Here's the thing. It's beyond messed up, is what it is. Bottom lining it. Okay. And he knows his father is going to chew him out because his father taught him to always stay in control. Don't lose control. You lose control, your opponent wins. God. I'm more tired now than Conor was after 4.5 rounds. 3.5, whatever it was. Jesus. 2 other fighters remained undefeated at 229. Dominic Reyes showing that he is now a serious player at 205. And also Aspen Ladd, who I know the majority of you people don't know this, but I will clue you in on a little secret. Aspen Ladd, although she's 10-0 and all her fights have been at the female bantamweight, that's a tough cut for her. She's only 23 and she can't make that fight, that weight. I'll get into Michelle Waterston in a minute. But she can't, and there's no way she'd go to 145, because right now, obviously, the only 145, true 145er in the UFC is Cyborg, and Cyborg would beat the brakes off of Aspen Ladd. She would beat her into the retirement age of 65 or 67, whatever the retirement age is now. I don't know. So I don't know where Aspen's going to wind up eventually. Maybe a 28, 29, 30-year-old Aspen lad can be a 145er. But for now, she's having a hard time at 135. She needed help getting up to and off of the scale for weigh-ins. I don't know. She's only 23. She should be able to make that weight. Needs a better nutritionist. And I can say that looking like this because I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. But y'all don't need to know that. Derek Lewis. Again, this is like the fourth time Derek Lewis has had a last minute Hail Mary punch out of nowhere, lands right on the jaw, puts Volkov, who for all means should have been the winner. I mean, Volkov was what, less than 60 seconds away from a win? Snatched away. Black Beast coming through again. What do I think about Michelle Waterston? I'll get into this really fast. The UFC put a lot of money behind her. Okay, they had her up against stiff competition before she was ready for it. I'm no Felice Herrick fan, but much like Volkov and Black Beast, Felice should have won that fight. I could have very easily seen her win a split decision, not the other way for Michelle by unanimous. I saw it quite differently. Okay. I want to do some segments now, and I will do on this date in MMA history. Today, October the 8th, 31 years ago, Will Ill Brooks was born, came out of his mommy 31 years ago today. So happy birthday, Will Brooks. Also today, back in 2011, UFC 136. Who can forget the Frankie Edgar, Gray Maynard trilogy? Finally ending and Frankie just wrecking Gray and TKOing him. Also on the card, Chael Sonnen, who I earlier today in the city congratulated him on his anniversary for his 136 victory over Brian Stan. Jose Aldo beat Kenny Florian, K-Flo. That was at UFC 136. And just 2 years ago today, UFC 204, Bisping Henderson 2. Bisping retaining his middleweight belt before, of course, losing it. Dropping Hendo and just pummeling him and then winning by unanimous decision. Mousasi TKOing Vitor Belfort. That was your day today in MMA history. I'm going to do... So what we're going to do now, and we're going to get it flowing a little bit better over the next couple of weeks, but the Facebook raffle that I used to do way back at the beginning of the show is coming back. What I'm going to do is every Sunday I'm going to post a thread on the Psyche Prods page, which, by the way, I want you guys to all like. CYCIEPRODZ, Psyche Prods. Like the page, okay? Follow it. Every Sunday I will post a thread. You get to ask one combat sports question. I don't care if it's wrestling, boxing, or MMA. One question. I will spin a wheel and I will answer two questions. Only one person will win a prize. What I'm going to do is, because not a lot of you, I understand, knew that, but now you do, for next Monday, I'm going to answer both questions and I'm going to give them both prizes. Why? Because I'm a nice guy and my stock is going to get a little bit too big. So Kenny Hodgkins wanted to know, would Conor ever return to featherweight to take on Max or Brian Ortega? Here's the deal. Conor's never going to see 145 again. Okay? That ain't happening. Now, will Max Holloway come up to 155? Probably. I'd put my money on it. Will Ortega someday? Maybe down the future. That I don't know. But I think by that point, Conor will be moved on. Other business ventures. A lot more money to make outside of MMA. So, that's my answer, Kenny. You will be getting a prize. I will be in touch with you. And now for Mr. Brian Horan, who asked, and I don't have it actually in front of me. Once Derek Lewis is done doing pot with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience, who's next for him? Okay, he himself says he's not ready for a title shot. He's not. DC would beat him. Brock would beat him, even though Brock's not the champ. If John Jones came back at heavyweight, John would beat him. Stipe could beat him. You know what? Let me actually pull this up right now. Because, okay, there's the rivalry with him and Curtis Blades. Maybe that. Maybe roll back the Ngannou fight. Maybe give these two one more chance to throw down. That's it. It's either Blades or Ngannou. So, Brian, you'll be getting a prize. I want you guys to also share this. Please. Pretty please. I'll be your best friend. Please share the video. This one. You're watching right now? If you're watching it, click share. It's really simple. A monkey could do it. Okay? Thank you. And we will talk some more MMA stuff now that we're done with 229 right after this.
This is Frank Edgar. This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Check it out. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
Okie dokie. So, what else happened in MMA? Oh, yeah. The PFL playoffs started. And I can honestly say this. I was wrong. I mean, talk about a bracket buster right off the top. Josh Copeland, by majority draw, and you can't advance because of a draw, because he won the first round, he moves on. 8 seed beats the number 1 seed, Francimar Barroso. Holy smokes. And then to top it all off, Copeland is getting beaten by Alex Nicholson. And then, you want to see what happened? Bobby, play video number 3.
And there's a cut over the right eye.
And a big cut over the eye of the Cuddly Bear.
Wow,
and now Nicholson's feeling it.
Good night. Lights out. Alex Nicholson was asleep before he hit the canvas. Jeez. There's really nothing sweeter than watching one person just knock out another. There is something, and I know this is Phil Hall's favorite word, something visceral about the human psyche watching a person get knocked the F out, as they say on the streets, yo. Blah, blah. Okay? There is nothing better. And that's basically what the PFL is all about. Fast finishes, fast knockouts, and/or submissions, and moving on. Let's see. Andre Harrison, Long Island's own. He only lives, I think 10 miles away from where I am right now. Lost for the first time in his career. Okay, it was a rematch against Lance Palmer. Jared Roshold beating Kevin Tiller, who who he lost to, I should say, 3 weeks ago to end the regular season. 4-5 meet up in the first round of playoffs. That's what happens. Sometimes 5 beats 4. And the All-American wrestler, Jad Rosholt, took out Kevin Tiller. And then, of course, he gets then smashed by Felipe Lins. So December 31st, New Year's Eve day, or whatever the 31st actually is, because that and January 1st always mix me up. The fact of the matter is, right then and there, will be, for the featherweight championship and $1 million, will be Steven Seiler and Lance Palmer. The heavyweight match, the number 8 seed, Copeland against Felipe Lins. Frankly, I think Felipe is going to murk. Although, then again, I've said this every time Cuddly Bear's gotten into the cage, that he'd be beat, but I don't know. So, I want you guys to check out CycloneComedy.com. Check out Psyche Prods, Prodz, on Facebook. I want you guys to share. I know there's a lot of people watching it right now. All 24 of you, click share. Hey, Ethan. One half of the Wrestling Snobs, who I would love to get the two of you, even though your tag team partner no longer cares for me. I would love to get the two of you yuckos here. Maybe someday we could work this out. But in the meantime, share this. Mr. Haran, you won your prize. Thank you. You're welcome. You can share this, please. Thank you. Now, I want you guys to keep it here after me, because after me, we got Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics, my house show, and Goki Radio. So it's a freaking amazing, awesome night that I'm kicking off. Okay? So therefore, keep it right here at Strong Island Radio and Television. We got the best stuff going. There's nothing better you could be watching or doing than what's right here. Okay? And we will continue with this party right after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Morigliata.
I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
All right, so what's coming up in the world of MMA? Well, while the UFC is away, and I think Dana is really happy that there's a week off, that he can like go in one of those hyperbaric chambers and like revitalize himself, because he needs it. Bellator's running the house. Bellator 207 is in Connecticut on Friday. I will be covering that. And then on Saturday, a couple miles up the road from here at the Nassau County Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, 208. So next Monday, it's going to be all Bellator. Also, PFL 9, the lightweights against the light heavyweights. And much like I did for last week's Bellator PFL card, I'm going to do now. I'm going to make some predictions, and we'll see how wrong I am. I like Chris Wade and Islam Mamedov, who is one of Khabib's partners, and you got to wonder if Khabib will show up at the PFL, because he's done that when his partners have been fighting. Got to wonder if there's going to be stuff there. And as far as the light heavyweights are concerned, I really, really, really like Maxime Grishin to take on Vinny Magalhaes in December. I really do. I think those are the two truly best fighters left. What else can I say that happened this weekend? There was boxing for all you people that like the sweet science. You know, we had Jesse Vargas and Thomas DeLorme fight for the vacant WBC Silver Welterweight Championship. Got to get all those words in the right order. And the two fighters left the ring, and that strap was still vacant. Ended in a draw. Can't have draws, man. Except, of course, the drawers that you wear underneath your pants. But we're not talking about that. You look. I've liked boxing a lot longer than MMA. Okay. Don't think with all these big guys around, draws really work. Especially if it's a non-title fight. Fine, draw. But if it's a title fight, they have to figure out some sort of a way. And I don't know. I'm not a genius. I only play one on TV. That there needs to be a way to decide a champion. You can't have a vacant belt. Two guys fight, a draw, and then the belt's still vacant. That can't happen. If you're going to have 101 million belts, you better have people to put around their waist. Can't do it any other way. I think that if, for any reason, make it whoever wins the last round wins the belt, if it's a draw. I don't know. I don't know if that's fair. Flip a coin, pull a quarter, and have Bruce Buffer do it like that. I don't know. There has to be some better way. There has to be. But I don't know it. Maybe they'll take my idea and run with it. Better credit me too. And those two actually said there will never be a rematch because, and they both knocked each other down. They both hurt each other throughout the fight. Thomas started strong. Jesse Vargas came on in the middle rounds. Thomas closed strong. Let me just fix this for a second. Jesse Vargas said he doesn't want to ever fight this guy again. And before the announcement of a draw, walked out the ring. He's going back to the locker room. That's a bit unprofessional too. What do you do? Study in the Khabib school of professionalism? There were some other big stories. Bellator announced that their heavyweight tournament will be decided on January 26th in the Los Angeles Forum, formerly the home of the LA Lakers. And you know what? We'll get into a little bit more stuff and start to wrap this shindig up right after this.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm a creepy Ian McCall. Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum.
This is Mark Goldberg. Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with Cyclone.
Oops. Sorry, I know right now Brian Horan and Rudy are yelling at the screen, no, stop drinking, it's unprofessional. And don't worry, Brian. It's not tea, it's not lemonade, it's water. In the bottle, like a baby. So, like I said, the 230 card at the Garden, still officially, even though they announced that Valentina and Sarge Eubanks is for the title, it's not on the site yet. That's still listed for 231. 230's main, still empty. Look, the way the UFC played Joanna Jędrzejczyk is just dirty. Okay? She should be fighting for that belt. Now, yes, Valentina has already beaten Joanna in kickboxing a couple of times. Here's the situation, though. She is the best money fight for that strap. Nothing against Sarge Eubanks, okay? She's a good girl. But she's not even the top ranked. Her teammate, Caitlin Trejigigan, who I am hopefully one day going to have sitting in one of these two chairs, probably this one, is ranked higher than she is. And Nico, who they just stripped, isn't going to get another title shot, is also. The fight, if they were going to not give it to Joanna, it should have gone to the blonde fighter. Caitlin should have been given that shot over Ciara Eubanks. And remember, at the tough finale, Ciara missed weight, so she already has a history of that. She's 3-2 in her career. That's what you're going to give a title shot to? Caitlin's a better fighter, too. Should have been Caitlin. And then to round off our discussion all week of pure immatureness, pure baby-ish, boxing did a tour of one of their hugest fights ever coming up on December 1st between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. They started in the United Kingdom, and that's Tyson's backyard. They got in each other's faces, they chirped, they almost came to blows. They did a couple events here in New York City. Got close a couple times. Cooler heads prevailed. The very next day they were in LA. Oy vey. All hell, once again, breaks loose. Bobby, can you play number 1? It should be 1 or 2 then.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
You can't do this. Jeez. See, look, Muhammad Ali was one of the best trash talkers on the history of the planet in combat sports. Him and Joe Frazier never went at it like this at a presser. Him and Ken Norton never did it. Him and Foreman never did it. Him and Cooney never did it. Hell, him and Sonny Liston didn't do it. The theatrics of combat sports has gone, to quote a song from, not Travis Tritt. I'm vapor locking on who. But here's the word, badunkadunk. It's gone badunkadunk. That's my new word for this. When the poop hits the fan, it's gone badunkadunk. You cannot, for the life of me, have pure chaos. You can't have officials and heads of TV networks getting pushed down to the ground. Are you serious? Now look, the heavyweights in boxing now, absolutely incredible. Because outside of George Foreman, Ali, average height. Ken Norton and Joe Frazier, average height. Sonny Liston, Joe Louis, a little bit under average height. These guys now are behemoths. Okay, you had the generation of the Klitschko's, and they didn't talk trash, so everything was, smooth. These guys, this is a matchup of the two tallest heavyweights in the history of boxing. 6'8" and 6'9", or 6'11". I'm not sure actually how tall Tyson is. And then you have Anthony Joshua, AJ, sitting in the corner, biting his nails because he didn't want to fight Deontay. Deontay actually said, "We'll come to your backyard. We'll come to Wembley Stadium. We'll fight you there." He turned him down. He said, "I'll come there for $15 million less than my regular pay." And they turned it down. Anthony Joshua doesn't want a single part of Deontay Wilder. That's plain to see. Helen Keller could see that. Now, if Tyson Fury wins against Deontay, it'll be interesting to see, does AJ fight Tyson Fury? A battle of Wembley. The two prides of England fighting against each other. Be interesting. But I'm telling you, this nonsense has to stop. And you know what else has to stop? I do. I got to start wrapping up. So, until next Monday, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, please keep sharing this. Please. Pretty please. I'd get on the floor, but you wouldn't see me. So, please, I'm begging you. Share this. Okay? And remember, next Sunday on Psyche Prides, ask one combat sports question and you can enter the raffle because one of you is going to win a prize. Only one. This week was something completely different. I'm not doing two prizes ever again. One. Uno, singular, solo. Not Han Solo either. So that'll be next week. Until then, I am Cyclone saying, just because you're not an athlete doesn't mean you can't be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.